Hello, and welcome to the Recalculating Your Map to Joy podcast, the show about how career zigzags aren't detours or wrong turns, but actually create our path to joyful work and joyful lives. I'm Marie Clark, a career transition coach and possibility partner, and I help women move from careers that drain them to ones that light them up without losing their identity or income. And if you're sitting in a job right now that fills your wallet but is slowly sucking your soul, this podcast is for you. Because my guest today has been exactly where you are. I'm so excited to introduce today Paula Gregorowicz, and she is the business operations guide and creator of the Rhythm of Growth method for founders and leaders. But it wasn't always this way. Paula, welcome.
Thanks, Marie. I'm so excited to be here. I know all about that filling your water, filling your wallet, and sucking your soul.
Yes. So with that, give us the 30-second to 60-second version of your career zigzag. Where did you start? What was your path? And kind of where'd you land?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I started with a major in accounting, which I didn't really want, we'll add, right? So I graduated with a degree in accounting, and everyone said I should go work for, at that time, the big six accounting firms, public accounting, but I didn't want to. So I went into an internal audit position. Then I moved, I like computers a little more, so I go to an IT audit position. Then I left that job to go and become a multinational company's first intranet webmaster. So think the 90s, back before the intranets were a thing. But then that changed and led to more web development and a data analyst for another global company. And throughout all these was a theme of a lot of like process improvement, as well as seeing patterns and managing and talking to lots of different people, but it was sucking the life out of me. So when I hit that point where I was kind of hoping that something terrible would befall me simply so that I could take my long-term disability from my corporate job, that's when I moved into some personal transformation work, which led me to coaching and consulting and still doing some tech work in my business 19 years ago this month. And and which I'm doing with a little different flavor at current.
So first of all, congratulations on 19 years in business. But I love that honesty, right? I got this degree, but I didn't really want it, right? There's a lot of people that are actually think that, but very few that are willing to say it out loud. And then this idea that you've changed a few times, you get to that point where, in your case, right, you were like, just, I want to get hurt so badly I don't have to go to work anymore because anything is better than going to work. Um,
Exactly.
and that's so relatable for so many of our listeners. So I'm curious when you made that big shift, because you've made quite a few shifts throughout your career, but that big shift from corporate to kind of searching your soul and ending up owning your business. Was there a single moment that caused that realization, or was it kind of a slow burn that led to the I've got to change something?
All of the above. So there was the slow burn that something needs to change. But what? Like I had no, it wasn't in my worldview, like being self-employed. Like it wasn't. I came from a line of educators and nurses and bankers. And like, that doesn't even exist. In my personal transformation work, when I was at being trained by the late Debbie Ford, and I was hanging out at a break during the intensive, standing next to this guy who owned this big manufacturing firm, and I said, like, why do you own this widget factory? He's like, I could care less about widgets. He goes, basically, I can design my life the way I want. And that was a light bulb moment. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, that's what I want to do. And I was attempting to go part-time and job share and all these very wise left brain things that would have led me to this perfectly designed path to owning my own business. Except I walked into work one morning and there was a whole lot of HR meetings on our calendars. And my coworkers said, I think we're all being let go. And of course, ironically, that day I biked to work. So I'm thinking, oh crap, I've got root access to all these IT systems. And I know how that works from auditing. They sometimes just walk you out and you're done. And I'm like, I'll be me, my box, and my Cannondale on the corner. So everyone keeps coming out and they're like, oh, everything's fine. We're not losing our jobs. Except I went in and I lost my job despite no reduction in headcount because I didn't have the skills they wanted. They were going to get someone else who had those skills. Like I had too much skill in this area, not enough skill in that area. So they didn't know what to do with me. And that was the other main point that flared up the slow burn and got me out.
Wow. That is so relatable, right? And I love how you said it was you, your box, and your Cannondale
I thought,
bike on
oh,
the corner, right?
it didn't actually turn out that way. They gave me 60 days to look for another position. But in my mind, I had to be prepared for what might happen.
Yeah, yeah. And that whole idea, right, of you knew you needed something, but you needed that kick in the butt, right, of getting fired slash made redundant, slash reorganized, whatever the
Yeah.
current terminology is, right? Um, it just really kind of gives you that kick in the pants to kind of go, okay, well, I guess I got to figure it out,
Yeah.
and to start to figure that out. So, as you kind of went through this personal transformation journey and went from corporate to owning your own business, what was the hardest part that nobody warned you about?
Well, how long I think that it was going to take for me to replenish income, right? So there's always the worry about making money, right? I didn't have my identity wrapped up in my corporate role. Like for many people, their identity and their corporate role feels like one and the same, which is why the change is extra hard, as you know, or retirement becomes hard. That wasn't me, but I was like afraid of disappointing people, like disappointing my parents. Like, okay, I'm whatever, in my mid 30s, late 30s, and I'm, oh, but what I found, because also when I started my business, if you do the math, it was 6 months before the 2008 recession. So I start up floundering with like, oh, no one ever told you how to do this, and worrying about how am I going to make enough money to support myself, pay the mortgage. And then there was the recession, and everyone's like, oh, well, live if you're an entrepreneur, just live off of, those boom years. I'm like, I didn't have any boom years yet.
Yeah, and that is so relatable, right? Because whether my clients are moving into their own business or into even a different career,
Mhm.
whether that's nursing and education, like your family came from, or just a different type of corporate work, there's always that financial stress
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
worry.
And
So,
there's always that grief too, right? Because even if you're like, I want this change, there's the grief of what is no longer, whether it's the identity, the people, the certainty, the illusion of certainty. So there's always that bit too that I don't think we give ourselves enough space and grace for.
yeah, yeah, and that is so true. And thank you for bringing that out. So, I'm curious, was there a moment you almost said, to heck with all this, I'm going back to corporate?
No,
Oh, so
no,
what
there
kept
was,
you moving forward?
it was just such a poor fit for me in the corporate jobs that I had. I mean, there was one little stint in the one job which really felt great, but the rest of them, not really. And I think in my last company, when oh, my work is great, but yet you want to put me on a performance plan. Why? Oh, because you want me to leave my personality at the door. Like the boss literally said that to me, and I'm like, I'm not willing to. So in the course of my business, and starting a business becomes like the world's greatest personal growth journey. I was like, okay, I'm not willing to quit on myself here, right? So I have had contract positions and other little side things that have augmented cash flow, right? I mean, multiple streams of income is wise, not a failure. So I have done those things. And I've often wondered, what the hell am I doing? Like, what? but never ever have I wanted to or applied to return to corporate.
Yeah. And I heard you say, right, you realized it wasn't a good fit. Um, Good job not doing what I did, which was spend 30 plus years in education and the corporate world before going, this doesn't fit me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I was
congratulations.
probably 20 years or so there. So, I mean, it was a
Yeah.
while, but
Yeah.
multiple jobs in multiple roles. So I did try a few things. So that idea of, well, the grass is greener, it's like, okay, well, I've been in a few different fields now, literally and metaphorically, right? And it's not.
Yeah. So, what would you say to someone who's sitting exactly where you were before you made that big leap or were kind of given that kick in the pants? What would you say to them?
I would say that you deserve to enjoy or at least feel good about your days. Now, I'm not someone who's going to be like, oh, go pursue your passion. I have several passions that people think I should monetize. I'm not going to do it, right? That's not what I want to do. So wouldn't say that to you, but I would say you deserve and you have things to contribute. So what might that look like? And allow yourself to get very creative about what that might look like and put away your preconceived ideas. Although maybe it's just me that had all kinds of preconceived ideas that it should be some linear path from here to there. Um, give yourself some space, and everything that you've already done is not wasted because we get that sunk cost fallacy. Well, I have a degree in accounting and I did this, and so now I can't change. Not true. And get support. Whether it's someone like Marie or get the support, because when we're in our own echo chamber, it's not good. Like I said, don't leave me alone in my own mind too long. I had my own coach at the time that I lost my job, and her answer to my layoff was, haha, they pushed the birdie out of the nest. So have your own support that then's going to have your back and help you see and create, because it may be a leap of faith, but it's not like a leap of lack of planning or lack of intention.
Yeah. And I love that you knew you needed some of those pieces in place. But you brought up that idea that everything's linear. And that's exactly why this show is about career zigzags, because we were all brought up, almost all of us were brought up to think it was linear, and it's very much not. So I really appreciate you bringing up that exact topic as we go through this podcast. So I want to thank you, Paula. We do keep our episodes very short here because time is precious. And that openness and honesty you brought, right? Being willing to say, I'd almost rather get hurt tragically so I could have long-term disability, right? That's that's something that many of us think, most of us won't ever say. But someone who's watching this is really going to relate to your story. So thank you for bringing all of that with you. And if somebody wanted to reach you and learn more about this rhythm of growth method, where can they find you? And
Yeah,
what
the
specifically are you working on?
yeah. So the best place to find me is my website, which is at the Paula, the letter G, the word company spelled out.com. And I'm sure that'll be in the show notes. But that's the best place to find me, learn more about me, see some of my passions behind the scenes, because my website's designed with all my photography in there. And then you can find a way to contact me as well as to schedule a call to have a conversation about working together. You can also take a free operations clarity assessment, which can have you take a look at all the different things that go into starting, running, and operating your values aligned business or organization, and see it's not a quiz. It's not a guide. It's just a little map, a little idea of seeing, oh, here's where I am. Here's where I've said I wanted to go.
Yeah, well, I'm all about the maps. Um, and then the other thing I really like about that, right, is that idea of operations and process improvement and how you really work with business owners. Process improvement is something near and dear to my heart. And I love that you work with their operations to align it with their values, which is the piece that we are so often missing and I think really makes you different than
Mhm.
a lot of the other process improvement people out there because you really look at their values, which is so critical.
Yeah. Operations inside and out. So
Yeah.
how you're operating in your head, in your mindset, in your, in your habits and in your actual physical processes and systems.
Yes. So wonderful. So thank you for that, Paula. And those of you listening, if this story today sparked something in you, if you heard yourself in any of that, including the, I almost wish a truck would run over me so I didn't have to go to work tomorrow. I want you to know your own zigzag story is waiting. You don't have to choose between your bills and your happiness. And if your career GPS is saying recalculating, come find me at movetojoycoaching.com. And if this podcast helped you, please share it. Someone in your life needs to hear Paula's story from the I got a degree I didn't want to I had to get out of this job. This is Marie Clark. This is Paula. And this has been Recalculating Your Map to Joy podcast. We'll see you next time.